Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is I Love You, Say It Back. Is the podcast. Let's get funky. Go. Hey. Oh, turn it up. Kids are back in school. I don't have to deal with them for another 6 months. I don't know. Thank you for joining us. This is I Love You, Say It Back. It's a podcast. I'm your host, Vic D. And boy, we are in for quite a treat. Want to invite all and welcome all new listeners of the podcast. Notice a few more subscribers, a few more people on Instagram. Thank you. I love you. Say it back. Once again, it's a podcast. We like to just keep it light and have fun around here. Some people would argue otherwise. This guy's always ranting. Look, there's things that need to be said. Okay, things need to be said. And boy, do we have a lot to say today. Kids are back in school. Congratulations, parents. You have made it. Yes, congratulations. This is how a lot of parents are dropping their kids off. They're like, all right, yeah. Honey, play that song play that song that we can't play when the kids are in the car. So a lot of that going on. And there's a story that kind of came out right as we wrapped up the podcast last week. So I've been kind of sitting on this one for a week, and a lot of things that we talk about, and a lot of conversations, a lot of things in life have two sides. Look, I think there's this argument for it, and then there's this argument against it. This is one of the few things in life I feel like there isn't another side to. I'll tell you what that is. We have our Shut the Fuck Up of the week. I didn't think I'd miss the Olympics this much. I miss them. It's only been a couple days, and I already missed the Olympics. We'll break down all the cool stuff. There's a very popular saying in life, and it's misery loves company. Misery loves company, right? I am the misery that now is enjoying the company we'll get into, which is a lot of you guys, just about all of you. So we'll dive into that and what that is. 9-to-5 jobs could be extinct in the next 10 years. We'll dive into that. But before we do, want to remind you, brought to you by Rev Nutrition. Man, I was talking about on Instagram how I was feeling a little weird today, like a little off, and maybe I'll get into more detail. I'll just read this whole thing through, but I was a little off today. I was just like very nonchalant, very, very chill, very mellow. Actually, a lot of great things that you would describe. I was like, I was having a great day. But it's bad for the podcast in the sense that I'm not very fiery. Took a Scuba Define, made a few phone calls, got on the phone, got my brain rolling, and now we feel great. So Define definitely gives me that mental clarity. I've said it forever. I just love it. You can get it at Rev Nutrition. And of course, everything else that you need, health, nutrition, gain weight, lose weight, gain muscle, everything you need, all over Bakersfield. Find them and mention the podcast. Get you 20% off. Also, the Mattress Space Furniture Outlet, Buck Owens Boulevard. Go check out my boy C's. He's waiting for you to give you a great deal. Invest in your kids' sleep this year. And wondering, hey, why little Johnny's coming back with bad grades? He's probably not getting a good night's rest, okay? Send him down to the Mattress Space. Get him the best deal and the best mattresses in town, or your money back guaranteed. Whatever that means. He can figure that part out. Thank you, Mattress Space. I love you. Say it back. I want to get into that. And, speaking of kids are back. Kids are back to school today. So we're recording this late Wednesday. It's funny. My watch if you just saw me check my Apple Watch, my thing's dead. It's been a very, very, very long day. Actually, it's been a weird day because on podcast recording nights, I'm very... I get my day going and I'm excited to record, and I'm excited to I'm going to get into this and I'm going to get into that, and we're going to talk about this and we're going to talk about that. And I feel a certain type of way, which is great. And that's kind of the fire that kind of gets me going. But for some reason, I don't know what it was today. I wasn't in that mode. And again, I talked about it a minute ago. I said, I'm very chill, very mellow. And look, when I don't have I don't have a strong opening segment or opening rant, which we do today. I mean, back to school, everybody talking about that. When I don't have something great a great foundation for the show, I get very nervous. I get very anxious. here's a little look behind the curtain. And this is true even when I was in radio. And it's a sad truth. I care so much about what I do. I love, whether back then it was radio, now it's podcasting, now I love the content game, and I care so deeply about it. It's my job. It's what I do feel like I was put here to do. So a lot of my mood and my days and my, hey, Vic, how you doing? Well, that depends. How did my podcast go? How'd the radio show that I just did go? So if the radio show or the podcast is good, I'm good. And like you say, it's good or bad, it can go both ways. But today I was just kind of like, I don't know why I'm not feeling it. I know the content was good, but when I'm not feeling that, sometimes I get a little anxious. I get a little nervous. I get a little like I'm not all the way there mentally, and it's not a good thing. But today, I was just kind of mellowed out. It was almost, I hate to say this, but it's almost like I didn't care that I didn't feel it. And that made me a little nervous. I was like, But again, took some Define. I'm not even trying to do this as an ad read. I've been taking Define way before they jumped on and did anything here. I love the mental clarity and the mood enhancer. It's got a little mood enhancer that it changes everything for me. And had some of that, made some phone calls, and I called some of my buddies up and just throwing out conversations, random stuff, nothing to do with the podcast. Just, what are you doing? Did you see this? Yeah, it just kind of gets your mind jogging. You're like, okay, I feel good. Now we're ready to rock and roll. So maybe it's part of the creative process. Maybe sometimes you don't feel like doing whatever you got to do. If it's a creative thing, if it's a work thing, if it's a small business that you're doing, not every day is going to be 100%, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't have a great day, a great podcast, a great day at work, a great day selling stuff. So just keep it pushing. Some days are going to be great. Some days you're not going to be feeling great, and you can still have a fantastic outcome in whatever it is that you do. So I wanted to get back to this because today was the first day of school, and it's so funny, man. There's kids everywhere, and I'm sure you've seen all the memes. It's like, oh, here comes everybody and flooding the timeline with pictures and their kids and their backpacks and their new haircuts and their new shoes and their new clothes. And it's like little Julian starting second grade and little Stephanie's in the fourth grade. And I swear to you, and I know I'm not the only person who feels this way. And it makes me laugh too. It really does. Doesn't it feel like you follow someone on Instagram or you're friends with someone on Instagram? You may not know them personally, but damn it, you know their life, because who we are on social media is so much of who we are so much of who we are in real life, right? You know our family, you know our friends. In this case, you know our kids. And I was scrolling through Instagram today. I was all like, oh, back to school. That's cool, man. Definitely going to talk about that later. There's so many times I was like, damn, little Johnny's already in sixth grade. We'll all be damned. He's getting big. Like I'm sitting here talking to myself, responding of these people that I've known for so long on social media as if I knew them personally. I'm like, he's getting big. Junior high already for Susie? It blows my mind how connected it feels like we are, even though we may not know each other personally in real life, which is absolutely hilarious. But at the same time, at least for what I do, it's kind of a beautiful thing. It is, because it means that we have a deeper connection. It means that I'm invested in you, you're invested in me. So I'm sitting here watching these kids and I'm like, already in fourth grade, huh? It feels like just yesterday you were pulling him out of you just had this child, and now this kid's getting ready to go to school. And I swear to God, it was just yesterday when he was going to junior high. Now he's a senior. He's got the little broccoli haircut. This is the cutest thing. It feels like we're family. And I know I'm not the only one who kind of felt that today, but it is hilarious to kind of sit back and think, like, damn, these kids are growing up, and hell, I've never met you. Some of them you're like, put on a little weight over summer, did we, Johnny? Maybe we could get active and do a little summer camp action. Pretend like they're family. Like, I'm getting so tall. Getting a little chubby there, huh? This is funny all day today. And then there's the other side of it where it's like all the single people who have no kids are like, damn it, here we go. Another day of just watching everybody's damn kids. And, it's like, hey, it's one day, maybe 2 days, maybe the rest of the week. Everybody's kids holding the signs up like, I'm 4 years old and I'm going to pre-K. Kids' voices getting deeper. Or when they pretend to be deeper, they're like, they're going into like, I don't know, like middle school or whatever age that your voice changes. And then they try to make it deeper. They're like, hey guys, I'm going into it's just, there's so many, there's so many different takes on this thing where it's like, yeah, it feels like family. People who already have kids who are grown or don't have kids, they're just like, damn it, here we go, another day. But it is interesting. We sit here and watch as if they're our own family. You got to love it. So enjoy your back to school. And the parents, parents got to be like, thank goodness they're back to school. Kids are driving me up a wall, home all day. And little kids, they don't even know what to do. Back to school. They're your problem for the next, how long is it? Is it 10 months? Something like that? Because summer school is what? It's summer's 2 months. So it's roughly around 10 months. So congratulations, parents. You survived. Let's give you a round of applause for making it. Yes, congratulations. Yeah. And teachers are already counting down to the next time that they hit the summer. Let's see what these other ones do. What do these do? We'll have to play that one when school is out. Teachers are, then it's teachers. Yeah. And then it's parents. So glad I have you here. Spend more time with my kids. Can't wait. Damn near crying. I wanted to talk about this. This is the topic that I really wanted to spend a lot of time on, or most of this podcast. So we'll see if I can get to the rest of these topics. Look, folks, there are certain topics and things that just about everything has two sides to, right? Oh, there's some people would say there's three sides. There's your story, there's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. Well, listen to this. This story is, I don't think there's a different side, a different opinion to be had on this. I think what I'm about to say is just about the only opinion, and it is the correct opinion. And I can't believe when I went through the comments in this, anybody would argue otherwise. Now, they were wrong, but the fact that they tried to make the argument really blew my mind. A groom kicked his, and I believe it was his best man, out of his wedding because he proposed to his girlfriend as he was giving his best man speech. So I'm assuming he was wrapping it up, and he's like, well, and with that said, I want to now propose to my girlfriend as we are all here to celebrate you and your wedding. Now, you may think about it and be like, oh, it's a little excessive. Why would he kick his best man out? I don't think there's another side to what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say is going to sound obvious, right? You're going to be like, Vic, you're stating the obvious. You would think it would be the obvious because it is absolutely, it is a blasphemy. It is insane. It is incredible for anyone, guy, girl, whatever you are, to think that it is okay to propose at someone else's wedding, someone else's special day. There are very few days in life in which we get to say, this is my day, this is my and my wife's day, nobody else. We plan it, we spend thousands and thousands of dollars, we get done up, we get the dress, we get the tuxedos. There are very few things and days in life that we get to say, this is absolutely all about me. We rented this venue and we planned this day years in advance to celebrate the love that we have, me and her. And I've actually seen this. I saw it on Snapchat. Someone proposed to someone at someone else's wedding, and I couldn't believe it. So for you to say, like, Vic, you're stating the obvious, it happened. So clearly it's not as obvious. So let's give everybody a reminder. It is not okay to propose at your best friend's wedding. You could be Vic, what if they got permission? It doesn't matter. Do not put your best friend or your best girlfriend in a position to have to say, yeah, of course you can. We can celebrate together. We all know that that day is about them. It is not about you. It is not. Don't use their beautiful backdrop and the gathering of family and friends, which I'm assuming that you guys have a lot of mutual friends and family. If that is your best man, you probably, a lot of times it's family. Now, the comment section that I saw online was outrageous. You know what they said? Some dorky idiot. They said, well, if it was really his best man or his best friend, he would be happy for the fact that he just got engaged. And I'm sure he would be. But just not on the day that I'm getting married. The other side of that is, why would the supposed best friend or best man even put him in that position or try to steal his thunder, try to steal his day? If I'm going and my best friend is getting married, I do not propose to my girlfriend in front of everyone celebrating their special day, and then you get to come at him and accuse him of being a bad friend. You come at me for being the bad friend for trying to steal his thunder on his special day. There is no other side to this. I don't care if he got permission, because if he gets permission, he will likely say yes because you guys are that close. But you're putting him in a position where it's like, well, now we're kind of defeating the purpose. You've kind of upstaged my special day. And a lot of people that are listening right now are married. And I know, look, I do weddings. I MC weddings, which, by the way, hit me up if you guys have a wedding, an event, whatever. I MC all kinds of things. But I see these special days and I see the work that goes behind it. And I talk to a lot of brides when they're like, oh my gosh, I'm just so glad that after today we can finally relax, because there's so much pressure and stress on everything to go perfect. And you don't think that there's sleepless nights. There's thinking of every possible outcome, and typically that outcome is negative. Well, what if this doesn't show up? What if this doesn't look the way I imagine it? What if this isn't blah, blah? You know, you go through so many scenarios where you're nervous. And let's say things go about as well as you can imagine, then boom, I'm going to drop down. Well, now we're going to be celebrating these people. There's no other side to this other than it's an absolute no. Don't come at me with, what if he got permission? What if they agreed? No. You don't put your best friend in that position to say, yeah, sure, man, we'll celebrate you and we'll upstage you. Because you know what's happening? Whether you like it or not, whether the friend has great intentions of sharing that day, whatever, you're putting him in a bad position, because now people aren't coming up to him and celebrating. They're like, congratulations on your wedding. We're now going to that other person saying, hey, congratulations on your engagement. You used their backdrop. You know how these weddings are. They're beautiful. They're stunning. Decorated. There's a beautiful string. I'm a big string light guy. Big string light fan. If you ever invite me to your wedding, I want to see string lights. I want that romance, baby. But never in a million years, best friend, best man, or just an invitee, would I ever dream of dropping down on one knee and stealing that person's thunder. Even if I got permission, I would never dream to ask for permission. And how shitty is that for, think about this. Ladies, you think I don't think about you. Think about this. Let's say he got permission. Let's say he said, yeah, go ahead, man. Propose to your girl on my special day. Let's say they agree to it. They're cool. Boom. How do you think the guy who's proposing to his girlfriend, how do you think that girl is going to feel? The newly engaged girl, right? She's going to be like, well, crap. You know, like, it's going to make her look bad. It's going to make her feel bad because this is supposed to be a surprise, right? So she had no part in this. She's like, oh, come on, Steve, we can't do this here. It's going to make everything and everyone feel awkward. So when I tell you that there's not many things that I feel strongly about, in the sense of there is one take on this, and that is it. So all you people who are proposing to people at someone else's wedding, or if you're thinking about it, get it right out of your head. It's not cute, pal. It ain't romantic. All you're doing is being incredibly selfish, and the people around you, they might say, yeah, but you're putting them in a really, really, really bad position. What are they supposed to be like? Nah, Steve, come on, man. You should already know. That's your best friend. We're here to celebrate that person and that person only. So that story came out, and they're like, oh, he kicked his best man out of the wedding. Go ahead. Yes, absolutely. I'm not mad at it. I'm absolutely not mad at it. It's disrespectful. It's now we're talking about the groom just, what an asshole. He just kicked out his best man for that. Why'd you put him in that position? Now you're making the bride and the groom who were supposed to be celebrating, you're putting him in a bad position. He kicked him out, and he's like, yeah, what an asshole. Why would he do that? He shouldn't have had to do that in the first place. Next thing I want to talk about. So over the last, what's it been? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? The Olympics just ended. I believe it was like on Saturday, Sunday. Over the weekend, the Olympics ended. And folks, when I tell you, I didn't think that I would miss the Olympics as much as I'm realizing now that I do. It was kind of sweet. Look, I've talked about this a million times. In the middle of July, there's no sports. Regular season, I don't want to hear about regular season baseball. It's not the same. We don't have no NBA. We don't have no NFL. UFC cards are kind of spread out. Boxing not doing much. But when I tell you that the Olympics, I've never been a big Olympics guy. I haven't. But this year was a little different. I don't know why. There was something beautiful. It felt big. Paris, the city of love. Maybe it's because we're also in an election year that it felt nice maybe to feel like, you know, when you talk politics, I stand here, Trump, Kamala, Biden, both of y'all shut the fuck up. But it felt nice to have a common enemy, which the common enemy was the rest of the world. Who are you rooting for? Well, I'm rooting for USA. Who are you rooting for? Well, USA. It was nice to all kind of be pulling on the same end of the rope. It was nice. It felt like we were all unified for, even if it was just a little bit. But the other part that was sweet is that there was sports 24/7. This part was underrated. I mean, you go out and you get drunk and you come home and you're just like stumbling through the door, and suddenly you're just like, turn on the TV and you're like, yep, there's Olympic sports. I'm going to watch fencing for the next 30 minutes and pass out drunk right in front of it. It just felt nice to know that in the back of your head, there was always something going on. Fencing, sports that you would never otherwise watch. That's the best part about it. I've never watched fencing. I've never watched look, come after me if you have to. I don't know what it's called, but where they're jumping horses, they're like riding horses and then they're jumping over the little bars. I don't know what that's called. Equestrian. I don't know how that's judged. They all look like they're doing the exact same thing. I would never watch that in my life. It will put me to... But when you put a USA tag against France, against Italy, against whatever, suddenly I'm interested. Suddenly they're competing for something bigger than I understand. And again, it all looks the same. We don't know how they're judging, and it looks boring, but we're just like, all right, well, at least I have someone I'm rooting for. What was the other sports that we had on here that fencing, horse riding, breakdancing? We don't even need to get into that. You've seen the memes. That was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. In fact, it was so bad they already got rid of it. They said, all right, we're going to try this. We're going to step out on a limb. We're going to be cool. We're going to be hip. We're going to have breakdancing. And everyone's just like, stop it. Know who you are. I was having a conversation with my buddy. We were talking about how wrestling wasn't that big of a deal. I was like, I didn't see one wrestling thing. Wrestling's supposed to be like one of the original, like me versus you, we wrestle, and I didn't see any of it. I didn't see not one thing. More wrestling, less breakdancing. Again, they already got rid of it. A couple other things they can get rid of. There's a lot of things that I feel like they can get rid of that nobody would even notice. Obviously, breakdancing's gone. I think they can get rid of fencing, because where the hell do you even practice that? You ever met an Olympic guy who's like, I'm a fencer and I have to go train for fencing for 4 years? Like, what? Where are you doing this? Or is it one of those things where it's like, hey, in the Olympics are coming up in December, and I can start training now. And just like, yeah, well, there's not much to this. Just poke the guy before he pokes you. I don't know. I don't know how this works. Yeah, nobody's training 4 years to go fencing. We need to. You know what? I'm gonna throw this out in my fantasy. You know how we do like losers for fantasy football? Last place has to do something. Last place in our league, we got to find the local fencing tournament. Something like that. Losers got to enter it. Just get poked all over the eye. I want there to be no protection. I want it to be raw dogging into fencing. And I want them to use a real blade. Hey, you got to enter here, buddy. Sorry. And they're like, all right, well, at least it's one of those little ballpoint and I get the facial. No, we found one that's just real blades. It's like a survivor is the winner. All right, just to the end. But that'd be interesting. Entering some kind of tournament like that for last place in your fantasy league? Thank me later. We might be doing that. For real, that's a good one, fencing. But you know what's also interesting about this whole thing? And I don't know if y'all were able to hear that, but I definitely just wrote that down. I was like, check mark, check mark, check mark. Here's what's interesting about these Olympians, right? So you know Simone Biles. You know Michael Phelps. You know LeBron James, Steph Curry, the basketball team. You know Noah Lyles. You know these names. But how many Olympians did we send out? We sent out a bunch of them. There's way more. We sent out hundreds. I don't know if thousands, but we sent out hundreds to compete in all kinds of obscure stuff. Think about this. This is the crazy part about the Olympics. Some of these people got to go back to their internships. Some of these people got to go back to school. They got to go back to, like, imagine this guy just dominated water polo or some sport that you've never heard of seen, or fencing. You can't even recognize them by the face because they're wearing the protection. And suddenly this guy's got to go back to the law firm and start fetching coffee for someone else who's like, all right, Brad, go get me some coffee now. This guy was just competing in the Olympics 2 days ago, fencing, and you're just asking him to go get you coffee? It's insane. That's a reality of this whole thing. That's what makes this so interesting and fascinating. It's like these Olympic athletes got to go back to normal lives. They don't live celebrity lives. They're not in the NBA. They're not in the NFL. They don't have these. This every 4 years does not pay your bills for the rest of your life. A lot of these people have these normal jobs, what you would call normal jobs. They have extraordinary talent. But that extraordinary talent, there's no massive league for it here in the United States. They go back to school. They're going back to Stanford. They're going back to their law firms. Imagine, like, hey, I know you're an Olympian. You were just competing in France in weightlifting, but we're going to need you to watch the door. Like a bouncer at a club. Like, what else are you qualified to do? Just massive. Jim Gaffigan's got a great joke about that. What does like Mr. America do after he's done? He's just massive and strong. Well, what do you do? You gotta watch that. But yeah, it just blows my mind. Like, just imagine, all right, tomorrow, like here, work, anybody, anywhere. Oh, whether there's John's back from competing in the Olympics, doing some extraordinary flips in the air. You're just like, it's your financial advisor right there. Shout out the Olympians. I think we won and dominated like the medal count, most gold medals, most things like that. So, but it is. I do miss the Olympics. I just miss the idea of being able to turn on sports and there's some kind of live event going on. Do I care about the live event? Do I care about fencing? Do I care about horseback riding? And do I care about breakdancing? Absolutely not. But it was nice to know that something was on 24/7. That's how much I love sports. Let's get into our shut the fuck up of the week before we hit our last couple topics here. Listen, I'm all for savory and sweet and spicy and sweet and not. I'm all for that stuff. I love it. Anybody who knows me is like, I would eat like cupcakes and Doritos. I love the sweet and salty. I love that. I'm all for it. Nobody more for it than your boy. But here's my shut the fuck up of the week. There was a collaboration in the food world between, and I'm going to say this because a lot of people say it, Cinnabon. I think it's Cinnabon. Because Cinnabon just sounds weird. Bon. I think I made an Instagram video about this one time, and it was just so weird to say, hey, can I have a Cinnabon, please? Cinnabon. It's Cinnabon. Right? Chill out, bro. Don't look at it and spell it. It's actually pronounced Cinnabon. Cinnabon. Like, it's not, it's not just me. Cinnabon. It's Cinnabon. Cinnabon announced a collaboration with Warheads. Wait, Vic, say that again. Yes, Warheads. This sour candy that's got the guy with the head like exploding because the candy's so sour. And then you remember when you were in school, you were like, my mouth is watering just thinking about that right now. They've announced a collaboration in which they're going to be putting some kind of Warhead thing, sweetened or the sour with on the Cinnabons. That sounds so weird. It's not just me. On the Cinnabons. I'm trying to play your game and it just sounds weird. I'm sorry. But they announced a collaboration, Cinnabon Warheads, and shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You stop it right there. And again, I go back to it. You're not going to meet anyone who's more pro sweet and salty and more and this and that. I love all the different kinds of combinations. In fact, I get the weird looks. I'm the weirdo for the things that I choose to do on my own private free time. Vic, you eat this with this? Absolutely. I eat all kinds of weird stuff you guys would never imagine, and I'll never say publicly. But I have entirely too much respect for cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls deserve more respect. Leave it alone. When something is perfect, and again, not many things in life are, everything can be tinkered with. Everything can be adjusted. Everything can be enhanced. I respect people who take chances. Let's try something new. Let's try this. You know, this isn't going to work. This is a viral headline. In fact, it's working perfectly because we're talking about it right now on the show in one of our most popular segments. Whenever I get Instagram DMs, they're like, oh, here's a shut the fuck up of the week. I saw these kids who were like racing outside, like, shut. So everybody's got their own shut the fuck ups. Like we all go through life and we all experience things during the week where we're like, that just makes you whisper to yourself, like, man, shut the fuck up. Something you see, something you hear. So when I saw this, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, what are we doing? Cinnamon rolls deserve far more respect than to be tinkered with like this. Cinnamon rolls, I'll tell you a quick story. My sister recently just made a fresh batch. I went over to her house and I was eating and then I smelled, you know, I don't have to describe it, that cinnamon roll scent, that smell. And I was like, hold on. I was like, I smell something. What's going on here? I walk over and there's a fresh batch of cinnamon rolls. And when I tell you, I cannot be more excited for what I saw. It was a fresh batch. Fresh batch. The most delicious, and this is her first time trying it. It's the same way that people describe pizza, right? Where it's like, hey, it's a cinnamon roll. Even if you screw it up, it's still a cinnamon roll. It's so good. So I just feel like they did it on purpose because there's no way that you actually think that combination's good. Pick the two weirdest things and let's just make a collab. Let's just get the people talking. Let's just get the town buzzing on this thing, even if it's for the negative. So cinnamon rolls and Warheads, I know what you're doing. Stop it. Shut the fuck up. Have a little respect for the cinnamon rolls. Misery loves company, right? We've all heard that. We've all talked about that, and we've all experienced that where it's like, man, this person's going through some stuff, or in some way, shape, or form, we all kind of experience it in the sense where we're like, yeah, it's kind of true. Did love it when I was down, and everybody else was down as well. That's how I feel about this. Listen to this. So this came out earlier today, and I'm sure it didn't happen today. Now they're just making it public. But hackers release social security numbers of every American. Now, I don't think they should take this lightly. I think this is something definitely to be concerned about. Hackers were somehow able to find or hack into the system where they could have access to every single social security number and person in the United States. And if that sounds drastic, if that sounds big, you're absolutely right. It's huge. But I will say, misery loves company. Hey, welcome to the club, ladies and gentlemen. The door is wide open. This is exactly what I went through a couple weeks ago. Remember that? And they're saying, hey, we suggest that you call the credit bureaus, the major ones, I don't remember the names. There's 3 major ones. TransWest, TransUnion, Trans something, Equifax, Equinox, something like that. But guess what? I've already called and mine are canceled. Mine are frozen. I'm ahead of the game, baby. So they're telling everybody to, hey, you might want to freeze your accounts for a while, let this thing blow over, see if we find a solution for it. But this is exactly what I went through a couple of weeks ago. So it feels nice to, hey, welcome you in. I'm not the only one who's struggling with this. In fact, I might be ahead of the game. Yeah, I got a little bamboozled and I got hacked and I got money taken out and I got this and that. It just happened to me first. But now everybody's under the threat. But I will say, you know what the other side of this is? And there's always another side to this. If there is, what was the last number? I don't know, 6 billion people, right? And they all got hacked. Then you just kind of, there's a comfort in being like, well, you kind of say to you're like, well, what are the odds it's me, right? Look, 1 in 7 billion. How many are they gonna, mess with? Really, there's a little comfort in being like, the odds aren't great that I'm gonna get messed with. But if it was like we got thousands, you might be like, damn, man, I could be in some risk. I could be in some danger. Because if it's only thousands and yours happens to be one of them, probably a good chance that yours has been tampered with. But when you're like, hey, 7 billion, and isn't it funny how we look at 7 billion? I've always said this. If somebody tells you, what are the odds of winning the lottery? It's like 1 in I don't know how many million. You're like, yeah, it's never going to happen. But the odds are like way less likely that you hit or get struck by lightning. I've seen way more videos of people getting struck by lightning and I've seen thousands of those. I haven't seen that many people hit the lottery. It's outrageous. So I feel like you could tell me, hey, the odds of getting struck by lightning are like, you'll hit the lotto 5 times before you get struck by lightning once. You shut the fuck up, because I feel like I've been really close to being struck by lightning. I go hiking and sometimes it rains and sometimes you're up on that mountain. You're like, yeah, this could be the day. But the lottery, I'm not a big lottery guy, but whenever I have gotten a lottery ticket, I've never been like even remotely close. I don't think I've even gotten a single number in the right spot. So quit telling me that I'm way more likely to hit the lottery than to get struck by lightning when I've heard lightning right next to me. But I've never gotten a single damn number in the lottery. I can't be the only one who feels that way. It's true. It's like, yeah. It feels like it's way more likely that I get struck by lightning. Final story we're going to get to. This came out, and it's not shocking, right? It's not shocking. This is one of these stories you hear, and you're just like, I'm not surprised by it, but it is kind of shocking in the moment when you read it. There was a report that came out that said that 9 to 5 jobs, a lot of the jobs that you guys have, 9 to 5, they're going to be extinct in the next 10 years, roughly the next 10 years. And it's scary in the sense of it's a change, which we always push back on change, right? Especially here in Bakersfield, small town. I like what I like, and this is what it's got to be, and that's why we gravitate so much towards things that draw on our history, right? Nostalgia is a powerful thing. McDonald's is coming back with their old nostalgic toys, nostalgic cups, the Disney cups that I grew up with. I remember that, and we only seem to remember the good things. Make America Great Again is a great slogan. Why? Because it takes you back. It's like, I want things to be the way they used to be. It's not the way the world is working, but it draws on your heartstrings. It makes you feel like, hey, we're taking this thing backwards to where it used to be great. That's why those things are powerful. But it's because we are, change is scary. whether it's job, relationships, leaving your job to start a podcast. Change is scary. Learning new things, scary. So this whole thing that came out was like 9 to 5 jobs are going to be extinct. It's not. If you really sat down and think about it, it almost seems like, damn, 10 years? I feel like if they said, hey, in the next 4 to 6 years, folks, when was the last time you went to like a Taco Bell or a McDonald's? There's no longer anyone who's up there taking your order. And not that that's a 9 to 5, but the trends start there, right? You always start here and it gradually works its way up. The other day, I went to Taco Bell and I normally order through my app. I'm part of the problem, I'm sorry. But I hadn't used my app in so long, where it does that thing where it's like not technically downloaded. And I was like, I'll just get down. The line in the thing was long and I was like, I'll just get down. So I walk up to the place to order and she's like, actually, you order over there. Nobody's taking your order anymore. The workers are there to prepare the food and that's it. You go, you order at the kiosk, and then you just kind of wait for your thing. So we already see the trends in eliminating, cashiers at Walmart, cashiers at Target, cashiers at Taco Bell, food places. So you don't think that's going to start to trickle up? And I feel like COVID kind of put a big push on this. COVID made us realize that a lot of the jobs that we do are kind of obsolete. Do you really need somebody at your job to be there 9 to 5 or I guess 8 to 5 if you include that lunch break? It has made us realize that a lot of the things and the way that we were doing things, you eliminate it. You're like, we need to get business back up. We can't have people here. Okay, but we can still run our business. And that's where it was like, holy crap. We can still run our business. It may look a little different. It may sound a little different, but we can still function. So now people come back and you're like, we're spending this much on, on employees and this. Well, we proved during COVID that we didn't need this or these people. So it's a scary thing to kind of imagine, but definitely the way the world is trending, and it makes you wonder, like, what's next? So I always feel like whenever a job is eliminated, sometimes, or most of the time, a new job is created, right? I'm trying to think of a good example, but when you take away one job, it just creates a new job. All right, technology now, there's a bunch of tech jobs. There's a bunch of IT jobs are now created because of how much technology, right? But I almost feel like this is kind of taking it away and it's not creating a new one. That's what's scary about it. But maybe everybody should just start a podcast and do what I'm doing. Kidding, but it's true. It kind of just makes you wonder where this whole thing is going. I'm not afraid to change. I mean, clearly I had a great job, doing great. I just decided to leave it for reasons that we may get into later on another show. But I had my reasons for wanting to leave, but a lot of people in my situation, they wouldn't have left. They wouldn't have. They would have just put up with the crap that I was putting up with. And I was just like, nah, like, I got to, you get to a point where you're like, I deserve better. But a lot of people just kind of put up with it because they're comfortable. And it becomes, and the longer you're anywhere, it becomes harder to let it go. So, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, 10 years seems like a lot when you're already seeing the effects of it in our everyday lives. Target, Walmart, everything we order is online. Amazon, there we go. That was the example that I was looking for. Amazon took away like a bunch of retail jobs. Well, look how many people are now employed by Amazon at the warehouses, preparing things, managing, running all this stuff. So typically you take away a job, it creates another, but I don't know what it's creating, but it will be fascinating to find out. That's pretty much going to wrap up our show today. And I just wanted to leave with this message because I started the show with this. I said, you know what, today, rough, kind of brutal, kind of didn't feel the energy. I felt great. Like mentally, internally, felt amazing. Just not one of those like fiery like Wednesday, where I'm ready to just rock and roll. But somehow you get in the zone, and I think that goes for everybody. You may not wake up in the morning feeling great. You may not be like, I don't want to do this today. Just give it a shot. Give it a go. Be consistent. Stay on top of it. I love you. Say it back. I will see you all over Instagram, all over everything. Oh, last episode was one of the best performing episodes that we've had in a long time, especially in the beginning. So thank you guys for that. Keep this momentum rocking and rolling. I love you. Say it back. Follow us on all platforms at ILY Say It Back Pod. I'm at Vic D Radio. Y'all sleep good because vengo los angelitos. I love you. Say it back. Thank you so much. Congratulations, parents. Damn kids getting back in school.